So TCG Player has officially revealed the pull rates for Journey Together based on their data. They have opened more than 8,000 booster packs, so this is a pretty good sample size, which should indicate pretty accurate rates here for this set. Now, I've previously talked about pull rates for Journey Together, and based on the general public from like pre-release events and stuff, it seems like the pull rates are better than previous sets. But when we compare the data here for Journey Together and compare it to some other previous sets, it's actually pretty much the same. Nothing has really changed. Like, pull rates are very consistent, it seems, in the past few sets. If you look at the chances for an SAR and IR, they're like all identical. So pull rates don't seem to be very different. They're basically the same. However, there is like this an illusion that the pull rates are better because there's not as many cards in this set. It's a smaller set, therefore if you want a specific SAR, there's only I think 6 in here, so it's like your chances aren't that bad to get the one you want. And IRs, I don't know exactly how many there are, but I think there's like, was there 10, 11, like something like that. There's not many, so I think there's that illusion of good pull rates because you can kind of get what you want because Prismatic Evolutions, for example, is a very good I guess indication that people their perspective and their sort of, I guess, idea of good pull rates, it's based on what they want to pull, right? Because when you look at the data for Prismatic Evolutions and you see the percentage or like the chances to get an SAR, it's a lot better than these main sets. But since there's like 33 SARs or something crazy like that in Prismatic, people say that the pull rates are bad. But if you really look at the data, it's not that bad. But going to Journey Together here, hyper rares 1 out of 137. I think that's pretty average. We'll see the other sets here in a moment. SIR, this is the biggest one that people want to know, and also IRs, 1 out of 86. This is very, very similar to all the previous main sets. 1 out of 86, 1 out of 90. Like, that's kind of around the range for SARs, I guess, in previous main sets, so nothing really has changed. The earlier Scarlet and Violet sets are way easier. I think some of them are like 1 out of 32 packs or something crazy like that. It's pretty easy. But for, I guess, this time period of Scarlet and Violet, 1 out of 86 packs for an SAR, that's pretty normal. In IRs, it's 1 out of 12 packs, pretty similar to other sets. So nothing has really changed, to be honest. But as you can see here, for specific SARs, if you compare to other sets, it's a lot easier because there's only like 6 SARs, and IRs, I think there's around like 11 or 12, something like that. So yeah, it's a lot easier in that I guess respect, and that's why I think there's this illusion that pull rates are a little bit easier. Now this other stuff, not as interesting. Ultra rares 1 out of 15 packs, just double rares 1 out of 5 packs. So yeah, you can see the pull rates here, pretty similar to previous sets. Now we can compare this to Surging Sparks. Hyper rares seem to be a little bit easier to pull than Surging Sparks. Here they also use data from over 8,000 packs, so pretty similar, I guess, sample size, or they pretty much the exact same. You can see here the SAR though, the exact same, pretty much 1 out of 87. This was 1 out of 86, but you can see specific SAR. It's a lot harder in Surging Sparks because there's more SARs. Therefore, the illusion that it's harder to pull stuff maybe in Surging Sparks, but really when you look at the just general chance to get one, it's the exact same. IR is basically the same too. 1 out of 12 here for Journey, 1 out of 13 for illustration rares, but you can see specific IR a lot more difficult because there's more IRs. So there's that, and then all this other data that no one really cares about, it's not that interesting. Now going to Prismatic, this is the one that's always controversial, people saying the pull rates are terrible. When you look at the IR or the SAR pull rates, it's not bad. Like, it's like actually like 2 times as easy technically to pull an SAR out of Prismatic than these main sets. But since there's like 33 SARs and all people want are like the evolutions, it makes it seem hard because look at the specific SAR pull rates. It's pretty bad. So that's where the illusion comes in, where people say, oh, there's like the pull rates in Prismatic are terrible. Well, you compare it to these main sets, the SARs are actually a lot easier to pull. So there's kind of that bias with pull rates, and it's kind of just, I don't know, people just, I guess, have this bias in their mind that if they don't pull what they want, the pull rates are hard. That's kind of how it goes. And for this set though, granted that they didn't use a large amount of sample size, like they used only 1,200, probably because it was really hard to get packs. They were super expensive. But yeah, but based on this, the SARs were a lot easier to pull. Now, when you look at Stellar, which is a very comparable set to Journey Together, because the size of the set is pretty similar. You can see here SAR pull rates basically the same, maybe a little bit harder for Stellar. But yeah, you can see the pull rates though very similar. And for the IRs too, you can see are pretty similar as well for specific IRs because they're both very small sets. So Stellar Crown is a pretty good comparison, I guess, to Journey Together because they both are pretty small sets. And then Twilight Masquerade, just the last one I wanted to go off here because the sets before really aren't, you know, they were. It was a different time for the first like few like earlier Scarlet and Violet sets, and I didn't really think it was necessary to go through every single set. But you can see here, it's very, very consistent. All the pull rates for SARs and IRs, they're all like 1 out of 80s, 1 out of like low 10s for like it's all consistent. But Journey Together, smaller set, seems easier to pull because there's that kind of illusion. And you know, with these easier pull rates or seemingly easier pull rates, because in reality, you know, the pull rates are the exact same as pretty much all the other main sets. I think Journey Together will be opened up maybe possibly a lot more than some other sets, maybe like compared to Surging or compared to Prismatic, because, you know, people who open stuff up, they want easier pull rates or seemingly easier pull rates, right? They want to get their card, they want to get what they want, and this being a smaller set, they can do that. And I think Stellar Crown, when you look at the booster box prices, which I believe are $210, $220, something around there, I think Journey Together, therefore, even though pulls might be cheaper because there's not that many, there's not a ton of variation of cards. There's only like 6 SARs, so there's going to be a lot of quantity of these cards, right? I think booster box and sealed prices will actually go up, maybe possibly even more, because people will actually open up this set because their chance of pulling exactly what they want is a lot easier. And I think Stellar Crown is a very good indication of that being a factor, that people will open up more of a set if it's easier to pull exactly what they want. Because Stellar Crown, you can see pull rates very similar to Journey Together, but you know, it's also a small set, and this set is pretty like new, and the booster boxes are pretty expensive, especially considering the cards in the set. They're not very expensive, but the pull rates seemingly are easier because there's not as many cards. So, you know, this is just sort of my, you know, take on the pull rates of Journey Together. It's not what people, I guess, were saying in the beginning, I guess on pre-release events and stuff, that pull rates were easier. They're the exact same as every other set. There's always this illusion that bigger sets harder to pull stuff and these smaller sets are easier, but when you look at the actual data, it's the exact same. So let me know your experience with pull rates with Journey Together. Have they seemingly been easier? Has it been kind of the same story for other sets? Based on what we're seeing here, it looks to be the exact same. But since this is a smaller set and we haven't had a small set, I guess, since really Stellar Crown, it will be interesting to see if, I guess, that sort of, I guess, thought process of, you know, easier pull rates or seemingly easier pull rates with a small set, that will drive sealed prices up more, because Stellar Crown, you know, is a very new set, but it's pretty expensive, and there's no really expensive cards in there, yet booster box prices are just as expensive as some very earlier, you know, Scarlet and Violet booster boxes. Like, I think Stellar Crown might be the exact same price as like Paldea Evolved, and some other like earlier sets. I'm pretty sure it's actually more expensive than Twilight now too. So we'll see where the, you know, where things go with Journey Together sealed prices. But like I said, based on Stellar Crown, if you use that as like a data point and sort of like a good comparison, because they're basically the exact same thing, small set, same pull rates, Journey Together right now that it's at like 240 may continue to go up, considering Stellar Crown is at like 210, 220. So yeah, this ends the video. Just want to show the pull rates because now it's officially been revealed. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.